So here we are. My name's Tom. This is the first podcast, one of hopefully many that I'll be doing. So this is really just a test, really, to see if my equipment's working, seeing how I can upload it, that type of thing. Hopefully, if you hear this, it means I've obviously managed to succeed in that. But what I want to do really is just tell a little bit of a story. The story's from the GOD Experiments by Gary Schwartz, a very, very good book that I really enjoyed reading. In the book, basically, he looks at psychic phenomena and sort of lots of other sort of phenomena that aren't generally currently accepted by science. And he basically uses his scientific process to try and test these theories and in a true context with no sort of skepticism. Just he's really looking for independent data, as it were. But it's a great read. I won't ruin it for you any more than that, but what I will do is tell you this little story that comes from that, and the story is really, really good. It made me chuckle the first time I read it, and it applies somewhat to me and my journey in many ways. I've had to turn away from, I say not turn away from science, but turn away from what I was taught from a very, very young age, because what I've seen and what I've experienced has taught me otherwise. And the thing for me is science is a very, very good foundation. You know, it teaches all of us a certain level, but then there reaches a point then we can go on and join society and focus on efforts on earning money and buying cars and all that sort of stuff. But at one point you might start to ask yourself some questions that science doesn't really give you answers to. And that's where you have to go with your own belief in your own type of science. And many scientists I've met, they are scientists. Perhaps they aren't accepted by mainstream science and what's declared to be true, but they're scientists nonetheless. And I'd like to consider myself in that bracket because of the method that I use. The methodology is scientific, irrespective of what I believe, what I don't believe. The methodology is scientific, and that's the important thing. But anyway, going back to the story, so I'll start off. A black box fell out of the sky and landed somewhere in the southwest of the United States. It produced a crater of enormous proportions. The government immediately dispatched investigators to the scene. They fenced off the crater and kept everyone away, save the military and some key scientists and politicians. Headlines screamed, "What could the black box be?" Leading researchers were asked to examine it. First came the physicists, and they did what physicists do. They measured the temperature of the box, then bombarded it with subatomic particles, and attempted to reach a conclusion by studying its physical structure. But try as they might, they could make no sense of the data they retrieved. The box remained a complete mystery. Next came the chemists. They did what chemists do. They measured its chemical composition and poured various liquids onto it, including strong acids and bases. But try as they might, they could make no sense of the box, which had a chemical structure of the likes no one had encountered before. They left the site not giving any answer. Along came the biologists, and they did what biologists do. They searched for signs of biological life, attaching surface electrodes and measuring oxygen consumption and recording electromagnetic fields, a process similar to recording electrocardiograms and brainwaves. But try as they might, they could make no sense of the signals they observed. The box, they said, did not appear to have anything measurable that looked like DNA or cells. Finally, as a last resort, the officials in charge of the investigation reluctantly allowed a psychologist, we shall call her Dr. Smith, to see the box. So she pulled up a chair, she sat down and took out a pencil and paper and addressed the box in a warm and friendly manner. She said, "Hi, my name is Dr. Smith, and I would very much like to talk with you." She paused and gently said, "What is your name?" And the box replied, "Harry." And that's the end of the story. I think everyone I tell that to, they don't get it the first time, but it's a fantastic story. And I guess for me personally, it's, we're sometimes a little bit obsessed with prodding and poking the world around us, trying to put in massive amounts of data into it to try and get data out of it. And sometimes the easiest answer is just to look at it and speak to it. You know, I'm not suggesting we should do that with walls and other inanimate objects, but it's an interesting way of looking at things, and that's what this journey is about for me. It's about perception and how this year can influence that on a greater level for me in the future. Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say tonight. Hopefully you'll hear this and it'll all upload and everything else, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.